Hey everybody, it's John the Phone Guy here. So, for the few people who have watched some of my videos in the past, I've done a few sizing and I've shown a few of the display cases I built. But what I want to start doing moving forward is talking about some of the specs of what makes up a watch, what's different about Invicta, what the different parts are, why they're there, what's the differences between them, things like that. So I've got a whole bunch of different watches out here because I want to talk about dial faces and sizes and things like that. So, and I also have a non-Invicta that I've had for a long time. So one of the things I wanted to work and go through was just kind of talking about, I'm going to move this guy out of the way. So this is the Venom by Invicta. So this is one of my kind of go-to watches. So understanding what's going on here. So you've got the bracelet, which is, or the band. In this case, the band is anything that, that keeps the watch on you. So this is considered the lugs right here where the band attaches. A bracelet is considered any band that has links. So you can obviously take links out, put links in to size it, and then you've got your clasp system here. This is like a scissor deployant. It also has what they call the diver's clasp. So you fold that over so it stays on, for security. Then of course we've got the case back. In this case, it's the Venom, and it's a flat case, so it just kind of shows you the name and some of the information around it. If I get a second, so it'll give you reserve collection, Swiss movement, chronograph. We'll get model number right there, and a few stainless steel. This is a limited from the cruise. So this whole section right through here, where it says Voyage and all that, that's going to be your case, obviously. And then obviously you've got the dial face, which is the where you read everything. The little small indicators are called, they're subdials. And then of course you've got the pieces that you're going to have, your minute hand, second hand, hour, minute. Your date window, these are your hour markers inside. This is your bezel, which comprises everything that's kind of around the band. Now this is considered a unidirectional, so being that it only goes in one direction, so uni one. And this is for typically in a diving scenario, you would set your downtime. So right there, so you would go down, and then as your watch, and I'll just kind of do this for demonstration, as you're down under the water and it keeps going, it tells you your elapsed time underwater, so 10 minutes, 15, 20, and so on, and that kind of gives you how long you've been down. The reason for the unidirectional is if for some reason this moves, it can only move in this direction. So the worst case is you come up sooner rather than later because you ain't got no air. That's the prime reason behind it. These have screw down crown and function pushers, which goes to the water resistance. So this would be your start stop of your chronograph. This is your reset. So on this, if you notice right here in the middle that it's not moving, so that's normal. So you start your chronograph, or basically your timer. This is going to be moving as your seconds go by. So then once you get to where okay, I want to stop. So then that was 13 seconds or whatever, and then this resets it, so it sets it back to the 0 position. Your constant running seconds, however, is right here at the 3 o'clock, as you see it just kind of slowly moving around. So that's a lot of times with chronographs, people get confused. Or like, well, it's not moving, it's not moving, it's not, it's not working. That's normal. It's okay. So, but when you go in the water or around the water, just kind of finger tight these snug, and that keeps the water resistance out. I mean, keeps the water out. The other thing is obviously the crystal, which is the main crystals that are out there is sapphire, which is a synthetic material, chemically made. It's very hard, extremely hard, so it does not scratch easy. It's very resistant to scratching. However, sapphires can break because they are so hard they become brittle. Then you have mineral crystals, which is a mineral glass crystal. They're a lot more forgiving, but they can scratch easier because they're a softer material. With Invicta, you also have what they call a flame fusion, which basically is, again, another synthetically produced material that gives you some of the qualities of both a sapphire and a mineral, that you get a combination of, pretty good impact resistance and a good scratch resistance on it. So that's kind of, and this is a venom. So the other thing I want to talk about is sizing. So people are like, well, what's a size? So typically by industry standard, you measure from the 10 o'clock to the 4 o'clock. Now I got a set of calipers here, so let me see if I can get this lined up here. Without the function pusher, so that's why I'm kind of sneaking around it. So it's right at about 52, which this is a 52. And then the other measurement, sorry, I'm getting used to this. I'll get better, I promise. So the thickness of this is around 20 millimeter. So for reference, a quarter is 24 millimeters wide. A $50 is 30 millimeters, and a $1 coin is 38 millimeter, which is typically a normal size for a watch. So here's one of my old fossils that I've had for way long time, and this one is actually pretty good size. So this one is about 41 points. So this is a 42 from the 4 o'clock to the 10 o'clock. So that's a little bit bigger than a full dollar. The other thing I forgot to mention, so the function pushers. I apologize. So that's fairly standard for a men's watch. The thickness on this is obviously a lot smaller. It's like 12, so it doesn't stick up quite as high, on the wrist. Let me just kind of put this on so it'll make more sense. So it's a lot thinner, and then obviously the the size on the wrist is more in line with a traditional men's watch, around 42. So I'll set this guy back here. So some of the other things is watch materials on the face. So I have this is a Pro Diver. This has platinum mother of pearl, so it has a very silvery, pinkish and blues, so you get a lot of colors with that. I also have, where is he? All right, so this is black mother of pearl, which a lot of times it looks really just flat black, but if you catch the light, it'll pull up a lot of greens, blues, reds. It's a very impressive looking in the sunlight. The next one from Dial Faces, actually this is considered a ghost, because as you can see my finger behind it. There's nothing behind it. It's all open front to back with a clear case back. And it's also considered a bridge movement because, as you can see, the main components are running from the 9 o'clock to the 3 o'clock. This is your spring where all your tension when you wind the watch, or an auto, because as you move it, it moves this pendulum and that winds it up. and this is your balance wheel that keeps time for you. So that's another style of dial phase. Right here we have a red abalone. So abalone is a natural material from like a mollusk or whatever. So you can have all kinds of different colors, similar to mother of pearl. Mother of pearl, you can have black, white, gray, silver, yellow, bronze, pink, red, brown. So some pretty interesting colors. So here's a green. This is like a bluish green. This is more like I call it a more natural, but you know, you pretty much see a lot more of these than you will the colored ones. A lot of times the colored ones have a dye added to it. This is also platinum mother of pearl, so you can kind of really get the light play on that. It's pretty impressive. Another one of the dial faces is some watch companies, especially Invicta. So there's a wood. So this is like a, I believe it's like a maple, and then it's dyed. So I got the darker brown on that. But here's one of the other big things that people always ask me about. Sorry, almost forgot this one. Can't believe it. Meteorite. So meteorite is literally, you know, a meteorite, and they shave it down, and they put a chemical to treat it so that, because it's a heavy iron ore, so it doesn't oxidize. But that's a meteorite dial. Whew. I'll get it out yet. So weights. Let's talk about weight. Everybody's like, that's so heavy. How can you wear it? Well, you get used to it. So I'll just put this one on for reference. So that's my old fossil that I've had for a little while. So that's 2 ounces. Okay. This is a Sabacquanoma specialty on a strap. Okay, so that's 7. You know, kind of give you an idea. Now this is a beast. I'm just going to tell you right now. It's a heavy watch. So that's 15.8. So basically 16 ounce. It's a pound. But what's amazing about this watch, let me get this out of the way for a second, is even though it's a big heavy watch, and I would not recommend anyone who's not gotten used to a 52, you know, and so forth. This is a 58 Grand Venom. You need to kind of work your way up to it, because this is a heavy watch. I'm not gonna say it's not. It's a heavy watch. So what you find though is, based on the curvature of the lug system, that it actually is quite comfortable. Now it's all setting high because I was trying to get measured in, but as far as, you know, so I have a 7-inch wrist, just for everyone's reference. So I mean, it's big. I mean, you know, there's no two ways about it. To kind of think of it in perspective of size, if you look at the top of a Coke can, like the rim right here, that is 54 millimeters. So from a reference of how big it is, the can itself, you know, the width side to side, that's 66. So basically, you know, put a can of Coke on your wrist, and you kind of get an idea of the size based on that, you know, if you want to use that as a reference. So that's 54 millimeter, which is somewhere between this guy and this guy, roughly. Sorry, that guy and that guy. 52 and 58, and this is 56. So that's kind of the things I want to start talking about. I'm going to go into more details of individuals later on. This was just kind of a big overview. Also in the descriptions, you'll see links to TrapVision 3D, who talks a lot about Invicta lifestyle and how it plays into wardrobe and everything. Tommy Big Time is someone who's been out there for a while, does a lot of watch sizing, battery changes, you know, a lot of information. And also there's links to Evine, which shortly will be Shop HQ. And, you know, you can, that's where I buy the majority because of the exceptional price. And they have like a easy pay system without interest. So I'll see y'all later.